Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Lucy.
And I'm Brian. Thanks for joining us again.
We have a guest, Mike, with us today. He's a plumber, and apparently he's seen things in people's bathrooms that he can never unsee.
Honestly, I'm slightly afraid to ask questions today.
You should be.
That already sounds concerning. Today's episode is going to be a little different, because instead of travel, we're interviewing someone about their job. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So, Mike, first question. How did you become a plumber?
Honestly, I didn't plan it when I was younger.
Really?
Yeah, I originally thought about office work, but sitting at a desk all day just wasn't for me.
You wanted adventure?
I don't know. If I'd call overflowing toilets adventure, but sure.
Mike, what does a normal workday look like for you?
Wow, every day is different. Some days are simple repairs, other days are emergencies.
What kind of emergencies?
Burst pipes, blocked toilets, leaking water heaters.
That sounds stressful.
Yes, especially when people call at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Mike, what does a typical workday look like for you as a plumber?
Usually, my day starts pretty early. I check my schedule, prepare my tools, and then drive to different customers' homes.
So, every day is different?
Exactly. Some jobs are simple repairs. That only take a few hours. But sometimes, I work on larger projects that can last for days or even a whole month. And most of the time, I work alone. But for larger jobs, I sometimes bring in a few other plumbers temporarily because one person simply can't handle everything alone.
Okay. When you arrive at a customer's home, what's the first thing you usually do?
First, I ask the customer to explain the problem.
And then you pretend you already know the solution?
Sometimes, but usually, I inspect the area first to find the source of the problem.
What are the most common jobs plumbers do?
Blocked sinks are very common. You'd be surprised how much food people put down the sink.
Oh, what else?
What else? Leaking pipes, clogged toilets, dripping faucets, broken showers.
So basically, water causes problems everywhere.
Oh yes, pretty much.
So, what's the most common emergency call?
Probably overflowing toilets. Sounds terrified, right?
That sounds like a nightmare.
Especially at midnight.
Mike, you mentioned emergency calls earlier. What's the strangest thing you've seen on the job?
Oh, there's one story I always tell people. It happened on New Year's Eve, just after midnight. I got a call from a young woman saying her kitchen sink was blocked, and the water was almost overflowing.
That sounds like a real emergency.
That's what I thought too. Honestly, I really didn't want to go out that late, especially on New Year's Eve.
But you still went?
Yeah, because at that time I was still trying to build a loyal customer base. And I explained to her that she would be paying a premium for the service call in midnight, and she agreed without hesitation.
So what happened when you arrived?
Well, she gave me the address, and I found out it was a luxury apartment building, so I thought, okay, maybe this late-night call will at least be worth it.
Very honest answer.
Oh yeah, money is always my motivation, all right. When I got there, the sink really was full of water, exactly like she described. Then I walked over to the sink, reached into the water, and pulled out the basket strainer from the drain. The water disappeared in a few seconds.
Oh my God. So the sink wasn't actually clogged?
No. Maybe she is too young. She just didn't realize the basket strainer was blocking the water.
Oh, that's amazing. Please tell me you tried not to laugh.
I tried very hard.
Then, what did she say?
Honestly, I didn't know how to explain to her. When she came back into the kitchen, looked at the empty sink, then looked at the strainer in my hand, and just stood there silently.
Realizing she called a plumber after midnight for that.
Exactly.
Oh, that must have been awkward.
A little bit, I think. She looked pretty embarrassed.
But you still got paid, right?
Oh yes, emergency holiday rates. No discount.
Mike, I think many English learners probably don't know how to explain plumbing problems in English. So maybe you can teach us some common situations people describe when they call a plumber.
Sure. I hear these almost every day. Let's start with slow or clogged drains. Customers usually start with something like, "Hi, my kitchen sink isn't draining properly," or "The water is draining very slowly." Then I'll ask, "Is the sink completely blocked? Or is the water just draining slowly?" And people usually reply, "It started draining slowly a few days ago, but today the water is barely going down at all." Or, "Now the sink is almost full of water." That usually tells me the blockage is getting worse.
Yes, people usually ignore the problem until the sink basically gives up.
Pretty much.
Mike, what's next?
Another really common one is dripping faucets.
That tiny drip, drip, drip sound? The sound that slowly destroys your sanity at night.
Exactly. People call and often say, "Hi, my faucet won't stop dripping." Or, "Hi, the tap keeps leaking." Then I usually ask, "Is it dripping constantly or only sometimes?" And they might say, "It's dripping non-stop, especially at night." Or, "The sound is driving me crazy and I think my water bill is increasing too."
Honestly, that dripping sound is stressful.
Okay, Mike. What's the other common problem?
Leaky pipes are also very common. Honestly, it can be very serious, especially if people don't notice the leak for a long time. When customers call, they usually say, "There's water leaking under my sink," or "I think a pipe burst in my kitchen." Then I ask, "How serious is the leak? Is water spreading onto the floor?" And customers often respond, "Yes, the cabinet is already wet, and water is starting to spread across the kitchen floor." Or, "The leak suddenly became much worse this morning." So, that's when I know it could become an emergency.
That sounds expensive already.
Exactly. Honestly, when a pipe bursts, the repair cost usually isn't the biggest problem, because most of the time, the water also damages other parts of the house, like wooden flooring, cabinets, or even plaster walls. So, you can imagine how much all those repairs can cost.
Oh yes, I can imagine.
Sometimes the water damage ends up costing more than the plumbing repair itself.
Okay, Mike, I think I can already guess the next topic. Toilets, right?
You guessed it. I think toilet problems are one of people's biggest nightmares, especially clogged toilets.
Yeah, nobody wants a toilet emergency at home.
Exactly. One very common problem is a running toilet, and people usually call and say, "My toilet keeps running," or "I can still hear water running, even hours after flushing." Then I'll usually ask, "Is the toilet flushing normally? Did the problem start recently?" And customers often reply, "Yes, it still flushes, but the water never seems to stop running." Usually that means there's a problem inside the toilet tank.
Oh yes, I can imagine. That sounds really annoying at night.
Yes, it is. Okay, clogged toilets are probably the most stressful calls. You can feel people usually sound quite worried or even a bit panicked when they call. They often say, my toilet is clogged, or the water keeps rising when I flush. Then I'll ask, is the water overflowing? Did anything unusual get flushed? And honestly, sometimes people suddenly become very quiet after that question.
Because they already know the answer.
Exactly.
That sounds like panic mixed with regret.
Another common issue is when the toilet won't flush properly. Customers usually say, the toilet won't flush, or I have to flush several times. Then I'll ask, does the handle feel loose? Is there enough water in the tank? And people might reply, the handle suddenly became very loose this morning, or the toilet barely flushes at all now. That usually helps me narrow down the problem.
I never realized toilets could create so many different problems.
Honestly, this conversation is making me appreciate working toilets a lot more.
Trust me, people only realize how important plumbing is when something stops working. Another problem that quickly becomes a disaster, especially in winter, is the water heater. It's very common.
Yeah, no hot water in winter instantly becomes an emergency.
Absolutely.
And it can be even more serious for households with elderly people. When the water heater stops working, there's no hot water, and sometimes no proper heating, which can be a serious problem in cold weather.
Oh, yes, that's a really good point.
Absolutely. Especially in winter, that can be really dangerous.
So, for water heater problems, customers usually sound frustrated immediately. They'll say, we suddenly don't have any hot water, or the shower only has cold water. Then I ask, did the problem start today? Is there hot water anywhere else in the house? And people often respond, everything was normal yesterday, but this morning there was no hot water at all. Or, the heater has been making strange noises recently.
All right, let's move on to the last issue today. What is it, Mike?
It's low water pressure, most often in the shower or at kitchen and bathroom taps. It doesn't sound like an emergency, but it really affects your daily life. For this issue, people usually call and say things like, the water pressure in my shower has been really weak for the last 2 days. It takes me twice as long to take a shower now. Or, there's barely any water coming out of the tap. The kitchen sink is almost unusable.
Oh, that sounds frustrating.
So when you hear that, what do you usually ask?
First, I try to figure out if it's a local or whole house problem. So I'll ask, is the low pressure only in the shower or in all the taps? And customers usually respond, it's happening in the shower and the bathroom sink, or actually the kitchen tap is weak too.
So that helps you narrow it down?
Exactly. If it's only one area, it could be a clogged shower head or tap. But if it's everywhere, it might be a bigger plumbing issue.
I feel like our listeners just learned a lot of useful English for real-life situations today.
Yeah, from toilets to water heaters, this was unexpectedly practical.
Mike, I hope we can meet or catch up again in a cafe or restaurant instead of having to call you for help.
I'd prefer that too.
Anyway, Mike, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please give us a like.
If you like our channel, don't forget to subscribe.
Thanks so much for listening.
We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.